Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, or I would expect a lot of you guys watching this video probably are new to my channel. Hi, my name is Ebony, I'm a naturopathic nutritionist, and today I'm going to be sharing my experience at the London College of Naturopathic Medicine, so it's also known as CNM, and also just my journey to getting my qualification to become a naturopathic nutritionist. I get a lot of questions, particularly around CNM, so I'm going to be really covering everything, hopefully, in today's video, from breaking down what's included in the course, things to expect, answering really commonly asked questions that I get in Instagram DMs, and also just sharing my tips. So if you are thinking of enrolling, or maybe you are at CNM, sharing my tips as a graduate, which helped me massively with either assignments or clinic work, etc. So yeah, I really hope this video is really helpful. Right, before I go any further in this video, when you become a graduate, you also get to be a part of CNM's referral scheme. Now, this benefits you watching. If you decide you do want to join CNM, this benefits you greatly, because basically if you go through a referral, you can save £250 off of your fees, which is a big amount of money. So with that being said, if you are thinking of contacting CNM, so it needs to be at the initial point of contact, you need to say you've been referred. Go through the link in my bio and put your details in through that link, and then if you decide you want to enroll, you can save £250 off of your fees. I believe from the initial point of contact, I think you have 90 days or something to make that decision to be able to benefit from that £250 reduction. Yeah, it's a massive reduction, and I know the struggle sometimes paying these fees can be. So yeah, if I can help, go through the referral link. And to be completely transparent with you, of course, because it's a referral scheme, I then also do get a little commission off of referring you. So it's a win-win for everyone, basically. So the course that I did at CNM was to become a nutritional therapist, or the other term which I actually prefer to use is a naturopathic nutritionist. Now, this course is a 3-year course unless you have already got previous education experience in biomedicine. So the course is essentially broken down into 3 years. So you do 1 year of biomedicine, so you have to have that biomedicine training. If you do not have that, in your education record, you will need to do biomedicine first before you start your nutritional therapy course. I'm going to go through each year individually in a second in much more detail, but let's just go over it as an overview. After you've done biomedicine, you then start your nutritional therapy course, and that is 2 years. Now, before I dissect each year and give you an idea of what to expect in each year, I'm actually going to cover all the really common questions first, and the things that you're probably dying to know and ask. So the first question is, what does your qualification entitle you to do? And also going along with that, did I feel confident enough to go into practice straight away after graduating? So I'm actually going to start with the latter. Yes, definitely. When I finished, I definitely felt like I had the confidence and the training, the education to go straight into practice. And actually, I think that is the best thing to do, because you don't want to, drop the ball thing. You want to just dive straight in and just get practicing. And a lot of learning comes with practice and experience as well. I think the support that I got at CNM definitely did allow me to feel that confidence as well. They really do cover you in all areas. And then in terms of what does my qualification allow me to do, so as a naturopathic nutritionist, to try and put this simply, you are able obviously to support people's health through food. Now, this is definitely elevated to, I think, just a stereotypical assumption of what a nutritionist is. With the training that we get, we are trained in drugs and drug-nutrient interactions. So we are qualified to be able to safely recommend supplements. Let's say you have a client who is on a cocktail of different medications. You are trained to know which supplements to safely recommend, which could react. And I think essentially you do get a bit of that more Western medicine training included inside this course. And obviously the qualification is there to support that. So that is one thing, and alongside that, with this qualification, you are, qualified to write doctor's letters. So if a client comes to me and I'm going through their initial consultation and something comes up that I'm like, oh, we should really get that checked by a doctor, I have certain tests done, you can write those doctors and request certain blood tests, for example, to be done, and they can go and take that to a doctor. So you can definitely work with a doctor as well and have that relationship with them. I think the best way to explain this is you have a really high level of understanding and education with everything to do with health at a much deeper level. Like, it's not just about giving someone a meal plan, it's really about supporting imbalances and supporting, you know, that root cause, and to try and get your client to as optimal health as possible. So included in that is, of course, you're trained, you know, to work with people who are coming to you with diagnosed conditions. You know, some of my fellow practitioners, they choose to go down the cancer realm, and they work in more in oncology and things like that. So yeah, you've got to have that level of education to be going down these paths and to be able to support people. So hopefully that gives you an idea of like the level of education you will be getting out of this course. The next question probably is the most asked question I get is it possible to have a full-time job whilst studying this course? And yes, it is possible. Many people who are in my class did have full-time jobs and they finished it at the end, so I know it is possible. I think the thing that I just want to say, and I just don't want to sugarcoat things, like, it is a lot of work. You need to be prepared to give up your weekends, you need to be prepared, you know, to give up some of your social time, your free time, and yeah, and really kind of get stuck in, because yeah, it is a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of your own time, like self-education, assignments, studying for the exams, etc. In terms of the level of education, I remember one of our lecturers, like, repeatedly was saying the level of education is like 1 level or 2 levels or something, just under a degree. Like, it is so right up there with degree level. So if that kind of gives you a bit of an idea in terms of, yeah, what to expect in terms of workload. When I was doing this course, I was working a part-time job and I was even struggling with that. So yeah, I'm not sugarcoating it. It is a lot of work, but if you are passionate and you know, have that end goal, it is all like so worth it. My next question is, do I recommend going in person or doing the course online? I think this is really individual to you and your learning style. For me personally, when I was finishing off my studying, it was just at the beginning where all of this pandemic hit, and I really struggled with online learning. I just found not having that connection there in person with the lecturer. I'm a very visual learner as well. I just found that I didn't get as much out of the online lectures compared to in-person ones. So for me, I always recommend going in person and really soak every little bit you can out of the experience and all the lectures, but it really depends on your situation and also your learning style as well. Next question is, how often do you have lectures? You can choose whether you do weekdays. I'm not really fully sure what the weekday setup is, so I can't really speak on that. I actually chose to do the weekends. So in biomedicine, you only go into lectures 1 weekend a month. And then when you go into your second year and third year, so when you start nutritional therapy, you go up to 2 weekends a month. But I would also say in the last year, because you're doing more of your own clinic work, you will go in a little bit more in that last year. So they are my top, like, most commonly asked questions. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to really start breaking down what to expect in all the years. We're going to start off with biomedicine. Biomedicine, I loved, of course, the nutritional therapy course, because that's what I went there to do. But I have to say, biomedicine was definitely one of my favourite years. I had a fantastic lecturer, shout out to Bobby from London at CNM. He was incredible, and I must say he really made that year. I found it absolutely fascinating. So biomedicine is where you're really learning all about the anatomy of the body, and you're really learning about, you know, particular conditions, how the processes in our body work, and you know, this is your first introduction to all of this if you haven't done it before. So it's just absolutely fascinating. I loved this year. I am going to be really honest as well with this video. So this first year is easier. So this is my first tip, is when you join, do not be mistaken, okay? There's a huge jump between the first year and then going into nutritional therapy. So yeah, that's just want to point that out, and I'll touch on little tips when we kind of get to the first year of nutritional therapy. But yeah, overall biomedicine is a little bit more chilled. You only have, I think you only do 1 assignment, I think, that year. And then you have 2 main exams, so you have 2 semester exams. And then when I was doing it, we had like monthly mini exams as well on like that lecture of the month. So yeah, it was a bit more of a, I won't say a breeze to go through, but in comparison to nutritional therapy course, it was a breeze. Right, so let's move on to nutritional therapy. So nutritional therapy year 1, the first thing that is just burnt into my mind is that first assignment you do in nutritional therapy year 1 is a huge jump, okay, from your biomedicine assignment. It is graded on a completely different level and scale. And I think for all of us, it was like a massive like hit in the face. I mean, this is where it gets difficult for me, because I do also have a little bit of an opinion of, I don't think CNM fully supported us enough at that beginning. Like, no one really gave us that warning or that heads up, and I think coming along with that, I didn't get the education kind of to really support me to be able to critically write. And we were really looking at research papers in this first year, and you have to critically analyze research. And for example, I don't know what the first assignment was. It might have been like a drug nutrient interaction or something. You have to do a critical paper on, let's say, metformin versus chromium, for example. I feel like where I struggled in that first initial year is I didn't have the support in terms of how to actually write the assignment. So that was something that I struggle with, and I would highly recommend if you're starting nutritional year one, there is a book. I'll try and find out the exact name. It might even be like how to read a research paper, or how to, I don't know what it's called. I'll find out and I'll link it down below, but I wish I read that. But yeah, anyway, it's a huge step up in terms of what is expected for you. The workload ramps up like, in my opinion, like 50 gears. I can't remember exactly how many assignments we did in that first year, but I'm gonna say it's maybe around 3, 4 or 5, like around that number. And these are hefty assignments as well. These aren't like little, you know, little bits of homework. These are big assignments that take a lot of time, a lot of reading of like research papers. That's what takes up most of your time. And yeah, so there's that. And then you still have your 2 semester exams as well. That being said, I don't want to, you know, scare anyone off. Obviously, the things you're writing about, the things you're researching, this is all in your point of interest. And I really would recommend, you know, pick topics that are, you know, in line with kind of what you want to do at the end of, you know, qualifying. But also, you know, do throw in an oddball here and there, just so you keep expanding your breadth of knowledge. So yeah, more assignments. You still only have 2 semester exams, but those do also, I think they get a little bit harder. I think if my memory is correct, like in biomedicine, you had more multiple choice questions, whereas in nutritional therapy 1 and 2, like you don't really get that. Like it is definitely harder. And then the exciting thing is in year 1, you start your clinic work. So in year 1, you start with observation. So that is where your lecturer or your practitioner for that day will have a client in, and basically you get to observe them taking a case, and you get to help them. Basically, when the client goes out for their break, as a class, you get to exercise building that plan together, and there's like a whole process that you go through in terms of like trying to work out what the imbalances are, etc. So you get to do that as a class and get all of that practice basically in the first year. It's all observation work. I think in year 1 that was my favorite. Like when I had clinic days, in observation days, I loved those because you get to see real people, real cases, and yeah, everything starts to become more real. Okay, year 2, so this is similar to year 1. Again, same kind of amount of assignments, same semester exams, you have 2 of those. So yeah, in terms of the workload, that is still the same as year 1. But on top of all this, in your second year of nutritional therapy, you then start seeing clients yourself. So instead of doing observation clinic, you actually are in clinic yourself taking clients. So you have to pass 3 clients, to complete your qualification. You get 5, like an allocation of 5 clients. So essentially you can fail 2, but you've got to make sure you've got 3 passes. I think that is correct. But yeah, this is where you get to also see your, you know, peers in your class, also take cases. So you go up to the clinic rooms, which are really small little clinics. They're probably like 6 people can observe at a time. But yeah, you get to watch your friends take a case and assist them, and then you also get to sit in that seat and start practicing with clients as well. Now, on top of clinic, you then also have to do case studies. Oh, sorry, actually you have to do that in year 1 as well. So yeah, when you start doing clinic, you do have to write up some cases, and they're essentially, I see them as assignments as well. So you also have those assignments on top of your already normal assignments in your kind of curriculum. So that is essentially a rough guide of what to expect in terms of workload and kind of what the course kind of looks like. Now, I have loads of tips I want to share, so this might also be beneficial maybe if you're already an existing client, or if you are thinking of joining. Like, these tips honestly are probably going to be the most valuable things you've ever heard, and I wish there was a video like this that I could have watched when I was studying. So this is not going to be in any particular order. I'm going to start off with the final year because I've got loads of tips for this last year. Number one, don't set high expectations for yourself in clinic, and the kind of second tip with this is just dive straight in, okay? Do not leave everything to the last minute because you're scared to get in that seat and scared to take a client. Just dive in. Yes, you might fail your first one. A lot of people do fail their first client, and that's fine. You know, you don't have to be perfect straight away. We need to practice. So yeah, dive straight in, get things done. Don't leave it to last minute because clinic days will book up as well, and that will become stressful. So yeah, try and just book your clients in not as early as possible, maybe spread them out throughout that year, and obviously you're going to build your experience as you go through the year, but it just means that you're going to have less stress at the end. My next tip is my biggest clinic tip, okay, and it's get a copybook. I'll put a picture right now. You can get them on Amazon. I'll link the one that I got. This is honestly your best friend. So you get given these sheets that, you know, the ones that print, you know, so it goes on to like 3 papers. I don't even know what that's called. Anyway, you get those. So when you're writing all your notes in clinic, you get a copy. A copy has to go in the binders, not the binders, the file cabinets at the school, so you have to have a copy in there, and then you also have a copy potentially to give to your client, like for example the plan, for example. So yeah, you've got to use this copy paper stuff, and when you are in a clinic setting and you're timed as well, so there's also the stress of like when you're doing a client, you are timed, and that's also a common reason why people don't pass their first one, because it is practice just getting everything into the time that's allocated. And because you're timed, it can also create extra stress on you. And if you've got this wad of paper and you're having to constantly just keep flicking through it, like if your notes and your papers get mashed up, it's just unnecessary stress. So if you get one of these books, you can pin your papers to the books, you can be super organized, and it just means that you can go through things. And I cannot stress to you, when I got one of those books, it made my whole clinic experience so much more, not, I'm not gonna say relaxed, but it just took off an unnecessary stress, and it made it more enjoyable in that sense. My next tip is in relation to exams and assignments, and I also always say this tip when people are asking me, you know, is it possible to do this with a full-time job? Biggest tip is you've just got to schedule. I literally used to schedule months, and I would work backwards. So if I knew an exam was, let's say, in June, I would start at June and I would schedule backwards what days I'm going to revise what topics. And if you do that and really plan out your kind of plan of action, and also for assignments as well, like plan when are you going to sit down and read papers, when are you going to go and write, you know, part of your assignment. If you do that, it takes off so much of the stress, because a lot of people, they don't put that plan into action, and then they leave things a bit too close to the time, and it just creates so much stress because you're against the deadline and it's such a high workload, I mean, in a shorter space of time. So yeah, start your assignments as early as possible and schedule everything out, because if you know in your head, if you stick to that schedule, you are gonna, you know, have everything done by that deadline. So that is a huge tip. Next tip is study groups. So I definitely did this for some of the semester exams. I mean, to give you an idea, I think off the top of my head, like in nutritional therapy, I think you could be revising like 8 to 10 different topics, maybe for just like one exam. And these lectures, I mean, they are hefty. There's a lot of information. So study groups could be really beneficial, especially closer to the time where you can really work on this stuff together. Maybe you might find there might be lecturers at your college who are open to hosting some study groups. I know that happened at my college, and they were really beneficial, and that's something separate to the school. But yeah, study groups, amazing, either with your friends or whatever. And then the other thing also, and this isn't just for during college, but this is so beneficial afterwards, is just get your WhatsApp group up and running, because during college it's a great way obviously to if you've got questions, you can ask the group and get that support. But post-graduating, like if you've got a client, you know, got a case and there's something that's come up, you're like, oh, I'm not really too sure, you know, what to do about this, and you want some ideas, you can share it on the WhatsApp group and get some support from your fellow now practitioners. So yeah, keep your contact, keep your, you know, WhatsApp groups going. Okay, and then something that's gonna really help you when you graduate is start your social media presence as soon as possible. So I would actually recommend just do it, you know, as you start biomedicine, like just start it straight away. So you've got 3 years to start building up your social media presence, start building up your client base. Yeah, that will really help. So when you finish and you're ready to start up, you've got people to tell, you know, that you're opening up your clinic doors. Okay, so that is everything I wrote down as my like little bullet points of things to cover. If you have any questions that I haven't answered in this video, let me know in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you down there. Remember, if you do think you are going to sign up, use that referral link, because, you know, £250 is a big amount of money, and yeah, I wish I had a referral link when I joined, because I was paying off my fees myself and I was doing it yearly, and it was a little bit of a struggle, but yeah, any discount is really, really beneficial, and I think everyone can agree with that. If you have made the decision to study to become a naturopathic nutritionist, firstly, congratulations, good luck. Or if you're already, you know, throughout that journey, keep going, you can do it. I know there's moments where you do have a couple tears, but I promise you it's all worth it. My chosen specialism is acne, and also women's health, hormone balance, PCOS, I love working with, gut health, energy, yeah, everything that kind of embodies this area. So yeah, if you are interested to follow my content, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and also do follow me on Instagram as well. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.